Sagittarius, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for late October 2025. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's put this down and we're going to get right down to business as always and start you off real quick with an oracle card just so we can dip our toes in the energy and see what's happening with the lovely Sagittarius collective. I hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. So let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Saggy, please. And yeah, as you can see, I'm in the season spirit. You get to have your cards read by a lumberjack this week. Or am I a millennial burger shop owner? You be the judge of that and let me know. But let's get it going here. We're going to start you with one card, then we'll get into the full reading itself. And at the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from Shadowland Tarot just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into. So let's get it going here. Let's see what we got for Saggy, please. What's the vibe? What's the energy? And yeah, are you wearing any costumes this year? Are you letting your inner child roam free, my good friends? Let me know what you're rocking. But yeah, this energy is very intriguing to me because one, it can be very fun. But at the same time, there's also a controlling aspect to it as well. So we're going to have to see how this all plays because it's like two opposite sides of the spectrum. Now, before we fully dive into that, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the October subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, back into the reading. Let's talk more in depth about the card. So as you can see, we have this jester-looking individual putting on a bit of a puppet show. Now, in the positive sense, to me, it reminds me of somebody playing or having fun, enjoying themselves or entertaining themselves or others. So when I see it, I think of leisurely activity. It feels very lighthearted to me. So for some Saggies, maybe Spirit's like, yeah, enjoy yourself, have some fun, do something you like to do, especially if life's been a little mundane or a little bland. Spirit might want you to cut loose a little bit, which could be really nice. Now, where we run into a potential rough patch of energy, when I see any imagery of someone being a puppet master or pulling the strings, it's like, oh, someone's doing something from behind the curtain. Again, I'm not trying to make you paranoid or anything like that, but there could be more to a situation than what it seems when this card shows up, right? There's someone else pulling the strings. So watch out for any individuals that are overly controlling or people that function by having other people do stuff for them. I know that's very specific, but you can just take the positive message, right? So we're going to let him chill over there. He could keep putting on his puppet show. Let's get into tarot. And yeah, I always say that first card, it doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Let's shuffle it up one time here for the Saggies. What do we got? Please, in late October, while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. It was titled Surprising Action Incoming. So whether it was action coming from you or action coming from someone around you, it was like, whoa, I didn't know so-and-so had the capacity for that. Now, action takes many different forms. So whether it's action where people are physically doing something or just moving something along. But to me, either way, it looked like it was kind of out of the blue. So keep your head on a swivel as you move through the next couple of weeks. But we're going to see what shows up this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone. So only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else, right? Let's get it going. 3 cards for my lovely Saggies, please. What do we got for our good friends in late October? Okay, Magician. Funny how we were speaking about control and someone pulling strings. The Magician could fit that same bill. Okay, so maybe it's something you need to control or it's someone. Okay, we're going to have to look at this. The Magician can also be very good. I love it for many, many reasons, but let's get a couple more. Let's build this picture out. What do we got for Sag? And whoa, okay. Tower. Again, don't get freaked out about that. If it's the zodiacal time of year that we're in right now, at the time of this filming, these are very intense energies. These are very karmic energies. And hey, there we go. We got our good pal here, the King of Cups, a.k.a. Kyle of Cups himself without a beard. He's holding a goblet. He's having a darn good time. He's chilling out on the back end. So this energy seems much more chill than what we have in the front. So we do have this little dynamic happening. But let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes. Then we'll get into that juicy, intuitive stuff. But at first glance, believe it or not, there's a lot of water energy in your reading this week. And I always like to look at the elements because that informs us the different areas of life or how energy could be moving. We got the King of Cups. big water sign energy. We got the Tower, which connects to Scorpio, water sign energy. Now, when there's a lot of water, that represents the emotional world, the inner world. Water can represent creativity. It can represent artistic types of energies. It's very emotional how you feel. It's all internal when we have this energy, which can be good, but these energies do also ebb and flow. They go high, they go low. They're always back and forth, back and forth. Water can connect to personal relationships as well. So there's a lot of stuff. Maybe this isn't even your energy, maybe it's somebody else. And then we have the Magician, who is master of all elements. So yeah, there's water included, but they're all there. Big karmic cards right here on the front. So we do have some very intense, powerful themes starting to show up early and often in your spread this week. So let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes. So let's build this out piece by piece. Position number one, we start with the Magician. Love it. Now you see our pal there. He's sitting in front of this little altar. He's got that infinity sign over his head, holding his wand up to the air. There's channeling of energy here. So for some Saggies, just know you could be experiencing these emotions, these energies more intense than you normally do. This is an energetic conduit, if that makes sense. Now, the Magician is the biggest card in the whole tarot deck of manifesting, creating, whether we're purposely doing it or whether we're not. We're bringing something to us. We are trying to control how a situation goes. We're trying to control certain outcomes. I believe we're all creator beings, and depending on where our awareness is, what we put our awareness on, we can control a lot of things in this reality. And that's a talk for another day. That's a talk for another channel, right? But the Magician himself, he does tie in heavily to control for the positive and the negative. Now, in the rough sense, this card, and again, the good stuff, it's ritualistic, it's very spiritual. This could be meditating, yoga, all that good stuff. But when we get to the challenge of the Magician, to me, it either represents situations that we can't control, something that's completely out of our hands, or you might be dealing with somebody where it's like my way or the highway. It goes this way or it doesn't go any way at all. It can be difficult sometimes. So we're just going to have to see. And the Magician obviously is very karmic and spiritual. So we'll definitely want to see what his deal is. Let's get him tucked in here by the amethyst. Now, as we move forward, we get into a pretty hefty energy, the Tower. Okay, now again, don't get freaked out about it. These are just energies, and they're not all set in stone. Scorpio energy once again. So maybe you have Scorpio placements. They're your zodiacal neighbor. Maybe this is somebody you're connected to. But when we see the Tower, we think of shock. We think of upheaval. Sometimes it could be hitting the reset button on something where it's like, let's try this again, clean slate. It can represent endings, it can represent difficulty, but just remember, whatever it is, whether good or bad, it's an energy that just blasts in out of nowhere. It is heavily karmic, and it is what it is, right? Like a lot of times when people experience towers, it's like, okay, not much you can really do about it. It just is what it is. Um, but towers can be good, especially like when we have the Magician and the Tower. This could be a manifestation that's coming in quickly, or just an energy where it's like, you ask for it, you got it. You want it, Saggy, here you go. So that could be a good thing. So keep that in mind. We'll look at it and see if it's a warning. Now, moving to the very back end, we do have our pal here, Mr. King of Cups. So you might be connected to a water sign, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. If that is not the case, kings represent control of their respective suit. So when we see the King of Cups himself, we spoke about all the things, the emotion, the creativity, the intuitive energy, personal relationships. King of Cups is nice, even, balanced type of energy where it's like, no, I'm going to keep, I got this. I can take this. I can deal with this. So when we go from these two super intense energies to the King of Cups, it's like, all right, I'm just catching my footing. I'm catching my bearings. So for some of you, this might be great. Even if you are dealing with some intense things, Spirit could be saying, you got it. You got this, Sagittarius. But I would say the downside of the King of Cups, it's an energy that can lose control of emotions, feeling things that you don't quite want to feel or not. It's like emotional volatility. That's a big thing with the shadow side of him. The King of Cups can also represent overindulgence. So watch out for that. So we got a lot going on here, Saggy. I want to dive deeper on all of it. Let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. Okay. Let's get a good shuffle here from my Saggy friends. Let's see what's happening. And yes, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot because, as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on the Magician. And yeah, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to get to Saggy, you could drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. Okay, magician time. Why is the magician here? Okay, I mean, we do have the Knight of Wands in reverse. That's one of the Saggy power cards. Um, there could be a really strong energy around impulse control, either needing to have it or purposely doing it. So, if any of you out there are trying to refrain from something, there's impulse issues here, whether it's an action, whether it's a conversation, whether it's a habit. There's an energy here where it's like, this is hard to contain. It could even be an emotion, like we saw here on the back end. There's just an energy, whether it's somebody else or yourself, where it's like, this is very difficult to contain. I don't know what to do about this. So that's like the main thing I'm feeling. So let's talk about it. The Knight of Wands can be very good. It's an action card. I always say knights, they represent messengers, communicators, and big actions, especially him. He is fiery and vibrant. Usually I say this card is like the life of the party. But when we see him in reverse, he is extremely unpredictable. It's an energy that you think it's doing something, but it really does this, or you think this is what's happening, and then the energy does that. So it kind of fits with what we saw last week, the surprising action, because that energy could still be lingering around you. There's certain energy here that either needs to be refrained from, or someone's having a difficult time, where it's like, I just can't help it. So whether it's a feeling, I can't help feel the way I feel, or someone does something and it's like, yeah, I don't know what came over me. I just did it. It's like giving me that kind of energy here. Um, Now is a great time for manifesting. If we put all that message to the side, that little bit of a warning we already saw, I feel for a lot of you, now is a great time to bring things in because the universe will serve it to you quick. So whether it's work or relationships, maybe look into different techniques and stuff like that. I think a lot of it has to do with your power of awareness and the I am principles. But aside from that, the energy seems very hard to contain. Let's keep moving forward. So whether it's a person or a situation, it's just very intense. So let's go in on the tower. Let's see what that has. Then we'll get into that King of Cups because I'm hoping this is where the energy starts to calm down. But now we're starting to get a lot of people. Right? We're getting court cards. We're getting people. Usually people bring a lot of chit chat and chatter. Okay. So we have the Ace of Swords, the Sword of Truth, showing up in the upright underneath this. Like to me, this I've seen this for you in recent weeks where like you could be much more prone to like drop the verbal hammer on somebody. Like when I see the Tower and the Ace of Swords, this could be a shocking talk. So just know if there's something that's like bugging you or someone that's bugging you, they might not realize how much they are. Like when I see the Tower and the Ace of Swords, it's like a shocking talk, or when I just boom out of nowhere, like someone flips the switch because the Ace of Swords pulls no punches. Pulls no punches. So for some of you, maybe it's a talk that comes out of nowhere. Maybe it's a talk you weren't expecting to have. Either way, when I see the Tower and the Ace of Swords, that screams shocking conversation or talk to me. Um, just know your tongue could be extra sharp in this time. Like just keep that in your awareness that even if you don't quite realize it, others around you, it's like, oh, all right, Saji, I'm sorry. Didn't mean to step on your toes because the energy kind of just like flips, if that makes sense. So watch out for various kinds of shocking talks or communications. Whether they've already come in, they can continue. That's how this feels to me. Ace of Swords in the upright is a good card. It's not a bad card. It could just be harsh, right? There's nothing wrong with being honest and straightforward and truthful. But sometimes it's how you say it, not what you say, but how you say it. I don't know why I'm getting into specifics like this. Let's keep moving. Let's keep moving. Hopefully, this isn't somebody else like flipping on you. But let's go in on the King of Cups. We'll see what he has. Then we'll get into the shadow real quick. So, why is our good friend the King of Cups himself here? Okay. Two cards came out together, so I'm going to do something very rare and give a bonus here on the back end. The first card that popped was the Queen of Swords. Notice lots of people here. This is a very good balance. To me, it's not about what's said or the topic that comes up. It's about how you react to it. Because what came out with her is the Five of Swords in reverse. This feels like a peacemaker. So whereas all this energy here on the front is a little wild, it's a little intense, could get a little mean and snippy, this energy here on the back end is like, whoa, 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 whoa. Let's take it down a notch. And I saw a very similar thing in the Aries reading, whether it's somebody being a problem solver, somebody that could be, getting in the middle and mediating, if that makes sense. That's kind of how this feels to me. So I'm not sure if that's advice for you or if that might be the energy you're in. Just try your best not to get pulled into other people's stuff too, because with all these people and the intensity, and then I see this energy trying to calm things down. So let's talk about the Queen of Swords. She is the total opposite to the King of Cups. Whereas he is very emotional and about the inner emotions and very creative and softer, she is planned, logical, straightforward, to the point, very much like this Ace of Swords. But when I see these two cards together, it's like the perfect balance of both, where it's like, okay, I could be logical about something, but I can also be emotionally aware. So I feel like there could be something, your approach to it. It's not about what you say, it's about how you say it. Or that could be someone else. Again, I'm not trying to come at you. I'm getting very specific. I feel like I'm doing a personal reading here, Saggy. So again, only take this how it hits for you. But we have a lot of the zodiac out here. There could be a risk of you getting pulled into other people's stuff too. So watch for group drama, group dynamics. Five of Swords in reverse is a very good thing, though, especially since it came out with those cards together, because it's like, all right, let's put our swords down. Let's not make this into a big thing. So hopefully you could use your linguistic talents for problem solving. Maybe that's going to be it. But there's just this energy that's wild up front. Let's go through and do a quick recap, then we'll get into the shadow. A lot of intensity here. I do like how it seems to mellow on the back end. But if you kindly look in the box, position number one, we have the Magician with the Knight of Wands in reverse. Now, I did say for a lot of you, now is a great time to manifest because Spirit can pop it in your lap real quick. I do like that. The energy feels cranked up to 11. But for another portion of you, this feels like somebody trying to contain something to me or trying to refrain from something. The energy does feel a little wild to me, to be honest. And as we move to the center, we have the Tower with a sort of shocking talk or conversation. Someone might let it rip. There might be somebody, even though you might be correct, even though you might be right, just the intensity, it's like, this caught me off guard. So there could be various conversations coming in that's like uh, hitting you from the blind side. Moving to the back end, we do have the King of Cups with the Queen of Swords, and then we had the bonus Five of Swords in reverse that came out with it. This is a problem solving. It felt like a mediator, somebody trying to calm things down. So watch out that you don't get pulled into other people's stuff in this time, or too many people don't get involved. But a big thing here is there's a better approach. There's a way to say what you want to say, but just say it the right way, if that makes sense. And I'm not saying you're wrong, but that's just how the energy presents itself to me. So please take a screenshot if you want to look into it further. Let's see what's in the shadows. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here for you. And yeah, I always like to pull one shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge, they could be a good thing too. So let's get you one. Oh, and yes, if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel, and I have much love for all my channel members. And they're the ones that picked my costumes this year. I think they pick every year now. But there we go. All right, Three of Swords is showing up in the shadows, and this is a very common card to see in the shadows. And for those of you that don't know, it's illustrated differently in this deck. The Three of Swords are the three swords cutting through the heart. Now, I always say that it's a spectrum. It doesn't always have to be the worst case scenario. It doesn't always have to be heartbreak and betrayal and all that stuff. Sometimes the Three of Swords could be anxiety. Sometimes it could be someone that's on edge. Sometimes there could be something that's annoying you. So when I see this in the shadows, it's very important that you don't suppress in this time. So similar to what we were seeing in here, because if you suppress and restrain and pull back and refrain too much, eventually that energy will come forth. So maybe that's something to just keep in mind as you move through the week. Especially when I see the Three of Swords, it's like, all right, well, listen, if something's bothering you, maybe you need to say something about it or bring it up in one way or another. The Three of Swords can also just be something where you've been feeling this for a while, where the Three of Swords in the shadows, it is a pain that I've been carrying for a while, and I might carry it for a long time to come. That's okay. We're all in a different speed of journey in this life, and you don't have to heal from things right away. But we're just going to let that chill right there, Sadie. That's what I have for you this week. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give the details of the October subscriber surprise. If you would like further insight on your situation and book a personal reading with me, you could check out my digital calendar on my website, mastermetaphysics.com. The October schedule is up there and it's filling up quick. So if you want to have a little chat, go over there and check it out. But for the October subscriber surprise, I'm giving away 3 copies of one of the most stunning decks I've ever experienced. the Star Tarot. So if you'd like to get your name in for that, it's two simple things as always, my friends. First, you must be subscribed, and second, let me know down in the comments. Since last month, I asked everybody which zodiac sign they get along best with. This month, out of all the zodiac signs, which one do you clash with a little bit there? Drop it down in the comments. You'll be entered to win. And the winners will be announced in the community tab. As always, my friends, much love, and I'll see you soon.